In Indian economy, we are going to discuss about Beijing consensus. Okay, so here consensus meaning is general agreement or providing some important principles for economy development. Okay, so here Beijing consensus was forwarded by the Joshua Cooper Remo. Okay, so this Beijing consensus is also known as a Chinese model of the economic development. Okay, so Beijing consensus is also known as Chinese model of economic development. Okay, so here it refers to some policies followed by the Deng Xiaoping since 1976. Okay, so in that time Mao Zedong was died. So whenever the policies which followed by the Deng Xiaoping, so these important policies established or created one general agreement in the Beijing consensus. So that's why we are calling the Chinese model of the economic development. So after this model was seen as an alternative to the Washington consensus, okay, especially for the developing countries, because in that time there may be a crisis in the US subprime or something. So it is a alternative model to the Washington consensus, and also known as anti-Washington consensus view also, because in the Washington consensus, so it means the market is the higher level. Whenever comes to the Beijing consensus, here state intervention is very important to get out of the crisis. Okay, it means it is very anti towards the Washington consensus. So especially these important views and these important principles for the developing countries. So mainly the Beijing consensus is based on the main three pillars. So first one is a constant experimentation and innovation. Okay, and the second one is a peaceful distributive growth with gradual reforms. Okay, next is self determination and inclusion of the selective foreign ideas. Okay, so these are the main three important pillars of the Beijing consensus. And this model received higher attention in the wake of the Great Recession. Okay, so in that time the Western countries were hit by the economic crisis, recession period. Okay, but in that time China was still dynamic. Okay, so it means so this is always China's alternative policy towards the liberal market approach and Washington consensus. Okay, so experts thinks these types of the principles worked for China only, maybe not for other countries. Okay, so because these principles only maybe worked in the China's economy but not for others country. So in that time, the growth of the China's economy was increased. Okay, so in that time, the China's growth in the economy was increased. So in that time, the experts declared that death of market, because Washington consensus it says about the market mechanism is very important. But after recession period and crisis in the developed countries, so the experts believed that there may be a death towards the market economy, and there may be a rising of the state-led growth. So until 2010, we found there was increasing levels of the interest on this model across the developing countries. Okay, so most developing countries attracted towards the, but once Chinese growth was decreased in recent times because they are following blindly those principles or model. Okay, so that's why there was a decreasing in the growth. And experts have said protectionism also increased across the world, caused by the inclination towards this model. For example, US, UK, and other countries also. Okay, so here protectionism means a theory of shielding or practice of a country's domestic industries from foreign competitions. Okay, so it means they are protecting their countries, their domestic industries from other foreign competitions. It means for example taxes. Whenever there is a tax on the imports, there may be a chance to decrease the trade. Okay, so here the protecting their domestic industries compare with the other foreign industries. Okay, so this is known as a protectionism, which happened after a Beijing consensus. Okay.